Okay, so hi everybody. My name is Becky Auer, and this is, I think, my third in a series of webinars and meetings that I am hosting, and I am so appreciative of you being here, especially with the holiday season upon us. So appreciate you being here, and we're going to go over the business growth blueprint, and I hope you will learn a little something about your business and things that you can use to implement immediately to get more profits in your door and more leads and convert the prospects. So every week, what I try and go over is to provide content-rich, straight to the point instructional presentations that are going to help you get more leads, convert more prospects, and make more money, because we're all in business to make a profit, right? Okay, so I always like to show a little something in the beginning just to make you think a little bit. I just posed the question, do you stop short of stepping outside of your comfort zone? Like, look, this is number 3, right? So I always have a bit of technical issues and things like that in the beginning, and I'm testing different things. But if you consistently show up week after week, then you just get better and better, right? So everybody's always afraid of stepping outside of their comfort zone. And I just encourage you to do so because it is literally where the magic happens. So maybe I don't have but 1 viewer on this. I know it's not true because I saw people beforehand, but let's just say there was no viewers. But I still show up. I still do it. We still go from there. And what happens is then you can upload this to a YouTube or to, your WordPress site or whatever that looks like. And it's really about the repeat views and you becoming the expert, right? So I encourage everybody out there to step outside of your comfort zone. I know it's so hard. I know that most people are fearful. Like, look, I don't love myself on camera. I don't love how I sound, but you still show up and do it because the content is what I want to share with people. So today we're going to go over the business growth blueprint, your 5-step formula that impacts all areas of your business. So look, I know that being an entrepreneur is one of the loneliest places out there. There's not really big, humongous groups that you can go to if you have fears or if you have concerns or if you have things that you want to talk about. So for example, just yesterday I host coaching and weekly or monthly groups where people come in live, and I have a monthly mastermind group right here in my studio. And we met yesterday, and one of my mastermind members said, it's just such a safe place to come where they can share their fears and they can share their desires and their dreams and things that aren't going well. And maybe a lot of times that's personal, right? Because you might not want to share those feelings with your spouse and that type of thing. So I know that being an entrepreneur is a lonely place, and I'm glad that you're here joining me because I like to call it the safe haven, right? It's your safe little community here where if you have anything you want to share or talk about or get off your chest, you're in the right place. So road to success, it's not always what you think it's going to be, right? You think it's going to be a straight arrow up, and it ends up, going like this. And I get that, and most entrepreneurs get that. We're all a little, ADD, ADHD, OCD, all those things. So as long as you keep moving forward and taking steps to do that, you're on the road to success. So who am I and why listen to me? My name is Becky Auer. I have been a 3-time multi-million-dollar business owner. I was voted number 20 in the top business coaches in the world. I've run over 16 now, workshops, seminars, boot camps, mastermind groups, things to help entrepreneurs and small business people. I was blessed and honored just this year to have received Entrepreneur of the Year award within over 600 business coaches. So that was pretty awesome. And get a whole bunch of other awards, and I'm an author and all those things. I share all this with you absolutely not to brag. I'm probably the most transparent person you're ever going to meet, but I share it because I have been in your shoes. I know where you're coming from. Starting a business is hard. Carrying on once you're in the business is hard. And I just want to share some tidbits with you because it is my passion now to help small business owners, do those 3 things: get more leads, convert more clients, and get more profits in your pocket. Because you don't want to show up every day and just go to a job, right? You want to put money in your pocket. That's what it's all about. So today, as I say, I'm going to share the 5-step profit formula that's going to impact all areas of your business. So all business owners, the one thing that I get time in, time out, is they want more clients and they want more money. And I get it. So what does it take to get more clients? Well, first thing you have to do is be able to generate leads. If you have a great product or a great service, but you don't have anybody walking through your door or showing up at your website, then that's not going to work. So you have to be able to get more leads into your website or into your business. And we have a plan for you for that. Then you have to be able to produce revenue, right? So once you have your leads, then you convert your leads. How do you convert them into paying clients? You know, what is that service or product that you have that is going to go into your revenue equation? And then from that, right, you still have all your expenses to pay. You have either your office building, your technology stack, where all the things that have to come together for like something like this to work, right? To have email lists and customer relationship management software and things like that. So whether it's a brick and mortar or whether it is an online technology stack, there's always going to be expenses that you have to pay out of that. So my question to you is, what if you can make your clients or compel your clients to increase the number of times that they visited you and spent money with you every year, right? So those are just a couple questions that I pose out there, because there's 5 critical steps that every business owner must address in order to get more clients and get more money in your business. So those are leads, conversions, average sale value, your number of transactions per person, and then your profits. And that's just what we talked about here. So when you take a formula and you put it together, kind of like I did on this page, and if anybody wants a copy of this page, I'm happy to email it out to you. Just drop your email in the chat to me, and I will email this out to you, because it ends up to be the number of leads times your number, or times your percentage of conversions equals your numbers of customers through your door, and then how many times that customer has a transaction with you. Like if it's just once a year, maybe it's twice a year if you're a dentist, maybe it's once every 6 weeks if you're a hairstylist, right? So number of transactions times the average dollar sale. So if you're a dentist and it's teeth whitening, maybe it's $100 to get your teeth whitened. If it's a hairstylist and you get color and cut and all that type of thing, maybe it's $200, you know, every 6 weeks. So whatever that number of transactions is times your average dollar sale equals the revenue through your door, and then times the percentage of margin. What do you actually keep after all your expenses are taken out? That leaves you with your profit. Okay, so like when I owned the restaurant, when I owned the Kama Japanese Steakhouse and Sushi Bar, we operated after expenses, paying employees, paying the building rent, food costs, everything at about a 19 to 20% margin, right? So I walked away with 20% in my pocket after paying everybody. So when you talk about, you know, your profits and profit margin, that's the amount that you keep in your pocket. So I'm going to share with you these 5 profit formulas. And as I go through them, I'm going to give you some strategies to get, for example, more leads. So the first one we'll do is more leads. And I'm going to use an example of a business coach, because that's what I am. So that was the easiest thing for me to put together. And then in different areas, I'm going to share different examples just to give you an idea, because I don't want to confuse you here. And I kind of thought, well, this is a lot right before the holidays, right, to go over with you. But if you can understand this, and that just a little difference makes such a big difference in your bottom line numbers, then I thought it was worth going over this time. So strategy number 1 for lead gen, we're going to talk about lead gen right now, is to have marketing and advertising that works, right? And so everything that we talk about when I sit with private clients or coaches is that people come to your website, or they raise their hand that they want more information, and you have to have something to give. So I would say have some type of advertising strategy that gives them an educational guide, a free report, some kind of special report, the 7 things you must know before you hire an HVAC contractor, for example. The 7 things you have to know before you hire a business coach. You know, it's always 7 or 5 strategies or tips or something like that. Or maybe it's a cheat sheet. that, you know, will show you the steps to do exactly what it is that you provide for people, but they download that and then they become part of your lead strategies. You can also go to print, right? You can put out ads, you can create postcards, and I'm going to show you a couple examples of that. You can have a brochure, but it has to talk to the conversation that's already going on in the head of your consumer. You want to have your business card, flyer, direct mail piece. There's all sorts of different things you can do. If you're online, of course, you can do pay-per-click through Facebook or LinkedIn and things like that, or Instagram. It just depends on where your target market is. So all your prospects are being sent right now to a dedicated lead capture page on your website. So there's not really a big reason to have a website other than like positioning and authority, other than you really want to capture a name and email list, because once they raise their hand and download that special report or that educational information, now you can continue to market to them with their permission. So that is what you want to keep in mind, is what is that one thing that you can give away that you think, oh, they should really be paying for this information, but you give it away because they think, wow, if she's giving this away for free, just think about it when I work with her, what she's going to do for me, right? So whatever that is for your business, you have to keep that in mind. So I have HVAC client right now, and I'm doing all sorts of copywriting for him because he needs these educational guides and these special reports. Like, for example, we just did a tankless hot water heater. I never even knew there was such a thing, but I put together I wrote copy for him on why it's so important to have a tankless hot water heater, and people considering tankless hot water heater versus regular hot water heater, you know, what the differences are and why that's important to them and their savings over all those years. So what is it that you can give away for your business to get people to raise their hand to download this special report? And if you need help with it, let me know. I love doing this stuff. So for example, this is like a multi-purpose landing page where it's just really one thing. You can request a quote, you can request a guide. It's really just capturing name and email, and then they can leave a comment here. But it's really just one page where they can go and get that information downloaded to them, and then that gives you permission from there to be able to go forward. Just want to sing. That's right. Jennifer said, make sure to give a value to your audience on your free giveaway. It's valued at X. Love it. Love it. Whoops. Sorry about that. Didn't mean to blow up the chat. Okay. So anyway, this is what the multi-purpose landing page looks like. So other quick marketing options. Now, I have about 100 of these, but just put together for you for today's presentation. Other options. Look, you can go out and do networking, but I don't want you to go and like throw up all over people. I want you to talk to them and ask them, you know, what can you do for them? What value can you add to them? So don't just go in and collect business cards and run away. That's not going to work. You can set up referral campaigns. Like I have him, right? And I say during or when he's the happiest, hey, I'm so glad that you are, getting appreciation and value out of the work that we do together. If you have anybody else that you know that could use my services, refer away. And anytime anybody refers me for anything, I send them a little thank you gift, handwritten note with something that I have either purchased, like a journal or something that is just a thank you for them. It's not a gift card. It's just something personal that I can send to them. So don't forget to thank your referrals. You can also, for lead gen, have a whole direct mail campaign. Now, if you're out there and you say, I tried direct mail once, it didn't work, I bet you didn't do more than like a one-time send. I can almost guarantee it, because you have to send at least 3 times, and moreover, more like 8 to 12 times to actually get some results that are going to really pump up your business. And that's because people are just busy, right? They get a big postcard in the mail or something like that, and they half the time throw it into the garbage. But if they get it and they get it and they get it and they're interested in whatever that is, so for my HVAC guy, I may have gotten something from him as a customer 4 times, but all of a sudden now I'm having trouble with my hot water heater. I get it. Oh, I've seen this before. And now it talks about a tankless hot water heater. And now I start to pay attention, right? So when people pay attention and raise their hand for those types of things, then you have them. You get them into your system. So you can do direct mail campaigns with postcards, with letters, very specific. You can buy lists and things like that. You can do an online advertising campaign with banner ads. Those actually still work. Somebody said to me the other day, well, those don't really work anymore. And I'm like, yes, they still do. Just depends on targeting, that particular client that you're very interested in working with. Oops, I put direct mail on there twice with postcards. You can do a press release, blast that out to everybody. And from that, you may get connections for radio or TV interviews. Like I did a press release just recently about my meeting that I have here locally. And a local station reached out to me and said, hey, can I interview you about that, right? So, and I've been doing this meeting since 2006. So like, you just have to kind of think outside the box. And I just did it on a whim. And, from there, got coverage on it. So, and all that coverage you can use, again, to position yourself as the authority. And then you can always go to trade shows and things like that. Again, I have a list of about like 80 different things, but I just wanted to throw some out there for you. Strategy number 2 in lead gen is joint ventures. It's the fastest way to build your list and to make relationships with somebody is to have a joint venture partner or a strategic alliance partner, I like to call them. So with business coaches, right, I could have a joint venture partner with tons of different people. So all you have to do is think to yourself, well, who else is serving the people that I want to get in front of that's non-competitive? So I made a list. Of course, the chamber is a perfect one for me as a business coach. But I could contact accountants. I can contact bookkeepers, small business leaders and or lenders that are in the area that don't teach what I teach, but want to be able to say, hey, yes, come in. We'll have a conference. We'll have a small group. And I have somebody that does that handles that. So you don't have to go anywhere else. Payroll service, tax folks. People who design web pages. I have a great strategic alliance right now with a fellow who does web pages for new businesses. And it's perfect tie-in with business coaching. So he's a great joint venture partner for me. You can go anywhere from there. Print shops, the UPS guy over here, I get all my printing from him. Great joint venture partner. He refers me business, I refer him business. It works great. Graphic design firms, etc. So when you approach people for a joint venture or a strategic alliance, you really have to do the work for them, I always like to say, and it has to be a win-win type of situation. So you really just have to come in and say, I'll do everything, or I already have everything done. So all you have to do is email your list and get them to a specific landing page or invite them to the specific meeting on the specific date. But you have the emails written, you have the flyer that you want them to send out or pass out, you have everything done for them. So a couple different things that you can do with, again, joint venture partners. You can offer to endorse their business to your people first. And then when you do that, you ask them to do exactly the same thing for you. You can offer some type of special coupon or better yet, a value add during the close to boost their business. So like if I'm ending with a client and I say, now listen, you really need help with your bookkeeping, here's a free strategy session with the bookkeeper next door. You can put a brochure for them in your newsletter or in your materials that you send out, or you could do a joint mailer that talks about them and talks about your services, right? Okay, strategy number 3 are different types of referral systems. So before you even start on referral systems, you want to know what the lifetime value of a customer is. So for example, if the average client brings me $1,000 and that person stays with me for 6 months, my lifetime value of a client is $6,000. So I can now spend up to $6,000 in theory to get a new client, right? Because I know that over my 20 years of doing this, that most people stay with me, this is an example, but stay with me for 6 months and they pay me $1,000 on average. So you have to know that before you approach somebody else for a referral system. So I can now put a limit on what I can afford to give as a bonus or a gift, or what I, like I just worked with, at our mastermind meeting, I had an attorney here and he works with selling properties and things like that as the buyer's guy. And I said, what is one new client worth to you? And he said, between $8,000 and $9,000. So I said, well, in reality, then you can spend $8,000 to $9,000 to get a new client. Would you No, probably not, but just know in your head that yes, you can. Because if you get one from that person and then you gift that person for doing that lead gen for you that you wouldn't have had otherwise, they will probably send you more. Okay, so the number one referral system, or the number one thing you have to remember, is you have to offer great value and you have to give the best service in the industry, bar none. When you first speak to somebody, if you want to put a referral system together, you can use a little bit of the language I have here. We promise to do our best to always exceed your expectations with our service or with our delivery or whatever that is your business is offering. And when we do, we'd love to be able to count on you to give us some referrals from other business owners that would find my service or product useful. Okay, so you can say something like that. What I've gone to in recently is I just put it right in my 2-page contract with them. Like, look, when we sign up, and if and when we end, or during a certain amount of months, you will have no problem, as long as everything's kosher and great, giving me referrals to other business owners that could use my help. I just make it part of the contract now, and it's super simple. And I explain to them, and they're happy about that, and I'm happy about that. So it's a little clever trick or tip if you want to work that in. You can ask for referrals on visits, or you can also just ask friends and associates for referrals if you're just starting out. Profit formula number 2 is more conversions. Okay, so a strategy, one of the strategies, again, I have about 20 for conversions, but a strategy for conversions is a downsell. So maybe I talk to somebody and they would really like to have me, and my rates are $2,500, but they can't afford that. So now I can go into a downsell strategy. Okay, well, I'd still like to help you. I'd still like to provide value to you. Let's talk about what some of those options might be. So maybe it's for my $2,500 a month, that was 1 hour a week, every week, for as long as we work together. So now I could go down to, it's a half hour every week, or 1 hour every 2 weeks, right? So it's just fewer hours per month. I don't dive in as much. I take not as much of a hands-on approach, or I could get less money per month with a percentage on the back. This is just for business coaching. These are some ways that you can incorporate a downsell. So how can you do that for your company? Now, you don't want to downsell yourself to the point where you just look cheap and you're just out there desperate for any business. Absolutely not. I mean, you are busy and you have things to do, but if you feel like there's potential working with them and you want to help them, and you have time, then absolutely downsell is one of the ways to do it. Another strategy is a drip campaign. So a drip campaign, for those of you that don't know, is a series of follow-up communication. So most people do a terrible job at follow-up, right? They either don't. Do you ever go to a trade show and leave information and say, I want you to call me after, and they never recontact you? It happens all the time in any business. First of all, most people don't even have a list. So once you have your list, now you have to be able to follow up with people. So the drip campaign or autoresponder is a follow-up communication, and it just kind of drips on them once a week, twice a week. It just reminds them that you're out there. So the typical prospect doesn't usually even buy from you or think about you until you've touched them at least 6 to 8 times. So that's why you just want to continue to reach out with tips or tricks or strategies or whatever that is that your business is offering to them and why they contacted you in the first place. And if you have your special guide or your information guide already created, then you can just pull from that. Like, you don't have to recreate a drip campaign. You just pull from what you already sent them, because 9 times out of 10 they downloaded it and they didn't read it anyway. So don't recreate the wheel. Just pull tips out of, if it's the 7 strategies on, or the 7 secrets of what you have to know to hire a business coach, you have 7 emails all ready to go for you right then. So that's what a drip campaign is and looks like. So are you currently sending out at least 8 follow-up messages to your current prospects? Because if you aren't, there is money just sitting on your table that you are passing over time and time again. This is one of the first things that I do when I work with my clients is say, they all want new leads. And I say, forget new leads. Let's go to your current customers. Let's see where they are at and what we can do to add more value to them and to, to kind of resurrect what you've done with them in the past or help them. And then once they start paying attention, they find out they don't need that many more leads. They already have people that have bought from them in the past. So you can use a combo of email, direct mail, brochures, networking. As long as you're consistent and repetitious, you'll do great. So again, get your content from your past Facebook posts or any informative guide or ad or special report or anything that you can think of. And if you don't have anything like that already, A, you need some, but B, you can also just go and Google trade journal for your industry and get tips out from there and put it into your own language, or just do a share on somebody else's article that they've already did. Just remember to focus like on one theme as you go. So for example, I put this together for me, for coaching clients. So when you work with us, you're entitled to a whole bunch of different marketing tools and resources. And over in the dental campaign, like there's a whole dental campaign. So this is the front of a postcard. And then on the back is, you want guaranteed lead flow. I would tell you from my years of doing this, that's what everybody wants, is they want new people through the door, even though they should be busy taking care of their people that they already have. So I address that right up front. It's the conversation that's already going on in their head. So these are just two examples of the fronts and backs of the postcards that I would send out because people always want more leads. Okay, profit formula number 3 is more transactions. So one strategy to get more transactions is an upsell or a cross-sell. So one way to do that as a business coach is to create a list, and this is for you too. I'm just using business coaching because that's what I do, but you can create a list of all your additional products and services that you currently offer. Another list of things that you could offer or that you have available to you, and then rank them based on the profit margins from highest to lowest. And then you can create a whole bunch of strategies or scripts to help you in selling those high profit offerings, right? So it's just an easy way to be able to do that. So for example, you could put together a whole membership site that people can join for, whatever you say, right? $97 a month, or maybe it's $197 a month. It just depends on how much value you're adding in there. And if you have 500 people on an email list or 5,000 people on an email list, but you give them certain access to different things. One of the people that I follow, she's so awesome. So she'll give a free training like this, but then that's out there for a week. And then she puts it in the vault. And to get access to it again, then you have to join her membership program, which is currently $37 a month. It's like almost like a throwaway, right? For $37 a month. But it's an awesome way to give people free training, and then you put it in the vault. I love it. You can also offer on-site training. So like my HVAC guy, he could do an on-site training of, how to clean your hot water heater. Most people might come just because they're curious, but then they're like, yeah, I need a professional to do that. So you guys come on out because they're positioned as the authority. So you can always go out and you can speak. It's one of the easiest, best ways to get clients. Or copywriting. I do a ton of copywriting for people, and copywriting meaning direct response. So I get into the conversation already going on in the people's head, and I write copy for people, just like I did for him for the hot water heater. Talk about writing hard copy, right? You're talking about tankless versus non-tankless hot water heater. So it's just so funny, but it's one of the services that I offer. So what in your business can you offer that would get you more transactions? So I threw together, don't you love that picture? I think that picture is hilarious of the hair. Anyway, so for like a hair salon, if you go into a hair salon, you look in the mirror 3 weeks after you got your hair cut and you notice it's getting a little shaggy. So you call to book and they schedule you to come in 2 weeks later. So what if we could take somebody like that and teach that hair salon a strategy that's going to tell their customer or their client to automatically book at 3-week intervals? And so this is primarily more for men, right? Because they like their hair a little shorter most of the time. But when they commit to that at their initial appointment, it just automatically has increased their transactions. So just from that one strategy alone, it's going to increase their total revenue by 70%. So do you think if I showed somebody that had a hair salon, they might consider something like that? Absolutely. So let's talk about a florist. Some guys buy flowers once a year, maybe for Mother's Day, maybe it's for Valentine's Day. So if you teach a florist something like to create the program Lover of the Year, where somebody could come in and have prearranged flower delivery to, significant other, spouse, whatever that is, that, and it's all done ahead of time. It's just a perfect way to increase transactions in that flower shop. So each package then would include a specific floral arrangement for a unique occasion, maybe a little gift that goes along with that, a romantic card, and then they're going to deliver it on the dates that they have set up. So the guy goes in one time and sets this whole thing up for the year. So is he like not a superhero now to his wife or his significant other? I say, yes, I would love that, right? Nobody does this. This is not that hard to set up. So the whole cost of that entire campaign gets hit on this guy's credit card once a month for 12 months. He's the hero. He loves it because he looks like, he's doing this on a whim when in reality it's pre-set up. So what could you do for your business that's something like that, that's going to increase the transactions that people use? It's good for you and it's good for them. Win-win. I love it. So the guys love it because they're not doing the last minute dash, right? And so don't you think then that the florist would love that, and that they would then, contact and tell their buddies like what a great program this is. So now they're bringing in more clients. So it's those kind of things that I want you to think about for your business. All right, number 4, higher prices. Sat here yesterday, mastermind meeting. I have a gal who's a carpenter, and she's like, I've already raised my prices twice because I got the courage because of this group, and I'm going to do it again. Most people haven't raised their prices in years. So I throw it out there to you. Have you raised your prices? And if so, throw in the box and chat. When was the last time you raised your prices? Because I bet it's like not been recently. So let's talk about that. So the pricing is what you're going to charge for what you sell. If you could implement a series of targeted strategies that you're going to do and increase your sales price and have no effect on your conversion rate, what's that look like? And do you know the price that is the least understood component in small business ownership? It is raising your prices. So one strategy on how to raise your prices is to bundle, right? So do you ever go on Amazon and you order like one thing, like maybe it's mouthwash, and then you see the same mouthwash, but they're throwing in like a tongue scraper and a little carry-on to go type of a thing. So that's like a bundle, right? So for coaching, we can offer different bundles for people. So a standard bundle might be $9.97 a month, and it gives the client 45 minutes a week over the next 12 months. Or I could offer a quick start package. It's $5,000 a month for 3 months. And then it goes down to $9.97 a month, giving the client 8 hours in the first 3 months to, get started fast, and include some copywriting or something like that. And the premium package would be maybe a 4 hours plus unlimited email support for either an emergency call or I'm stuck call, things like that. So these are different types of bundling strategies. And then more profit, always one of the best. Strategy 1 is, most people overlook this, and I just love this because it so goes right to your bottom line, is to hire an intern. There are so many colleges, especially here in Pittsburgh, but all over the US, where when you hire staff, they have to come in, now they're on your payroll, now it's, plus for you, where if you can reach out to a different college or whatever, then you have an intern just for a certain number of months, which usually then leads into, if you need them and like them, a great job for them and a great person for you because you already know them. Internships in the beginning usually you don't pay for them, and it gives credits to those kids. So I love an internship strategy. Again, you have to create the win-win, just is, right? And students love it because they get out of the classroom. And we love it as business owners because they get, a little something, plus college credit hours and that type of thing. So it's just one strategy on how to increase your profit margins. So going back, what we talked about is you have to know your number of leads times your conversion rate on those leads that show up at your place of business, your brick and mortar, or your website. Whatever your conversion rate is your number of customers. And then how many times they have a transaction with you. So if you're like the florist and you can go from 1 transaction a year to even let's call it even half. So 6 times a year. I mean, how much, depending on how much he spends, right, is going to be how much increase to your bottom line, to your revenue, which then in turn drops directly to your profit margin. So those are the things that we talked about here today. So I am going to go ahead and unmute and, oops. I'm going to unmute and see if there's any Q&As out there, because I love participation, which is why I went back to the Zoom meeting. So let me go into manage, and I'm just going to unmute and see if anybody, I'm going to have you guys unmute yourself if you would like to say anything, because I know people are on there. But if anybody wants to share anything, now would be the time to do that.
That's not true. Tom, I've been asking you for years. Since I became treasurer, I've been asking you for this data in Excel.
Okay, and there we go. So I can't get the hang of between Zoom meeting and Zoom webinar, but if anybody wants to ask a question, please unmute yourself. There's not a way on here that I can see that I can raise your hand for you. So if anybody's out there, I'm happy to answer any questions for you about what we talked about today, or literally about anything else. I've done business coaching for 20 plus years. So if anybody's out there wants to have a question, I am happy to answer it right now.
Yes, Becky. So for me, we sell ice cream. So a way of bundling would be just to make different gift baskets, right? Or maybe catering opportunities, right?
Yeah, so you have a brick and mortar store. What's your first name?
Marco.
Hey, Marco. Where are you? Are you in Pittsburgh, or where are you at?
Yes, Pittsburgh.
Yeah, cool. So not the greatest time for ice cream right now. But yes, a bundling package would absolutely be just what you said. So like I know even at the little local ice cream place here by my house, if I go up there, they have like a bucket full of like an ice cream scooper and, you know, sprinkles for the top of the ice cream. And so there's, you know, there's things there that you can do that I can go up and buy a Christmas gift there, right?
Yes.
And so that is a perfect example of a way to bundle something. The other thing you could do, Marco, is, you know, work with a local restaurant or something where you would do all the work for them, and then you would be able to go to them and say, hey, I'd like them to stop to my place to have ice cream after. You know, could you work out with me, and I'll print everything up for you, but do a complimentary $5 free towards, you know, a dinner purchase or something like that.
Okay, thank you. So that would include the bundling and also joint venture.
Yeah, joint ventures are the quickest and easiest way to get more people to your business, as long as you're non-competitive. So what if the restaurant says, hey, we sell ice cream too, you know, I would go right back to them with, yeah, but you want to fill your tables, and so why don't you send them over to me for ice cream so you can seat more people to have that dinner crowd or that lunch crowd.
Great, thank you so much.
Yeah, you're so welcome. Appreciate you jumping on. Anybody else out there have any question, concern, problem? Let's see, we got a good number of people on. Everybody's busy thinking about their holidays coming up, I'm quite sure. All right, now is the time. If you unmute yourself, that would be awesome. And if not, that's okay too. We can go from there. I will move on. If you want to share any aha moments from today, happy to do that as well, but everybody seems a little shy today, which was not the case the other day when we had lots of participation. So my overall goal every week is to provide you with great content, straight to the point instructional presentations that you can then take back and implement in your business, or stay at your business and implement like later on today. So I hope you got a couple things out of this that you would be able to implement straight away. And again, if you have questions or problems, you know, reach out to me. I'm going to be on live every Wednesday from 11:30 to 12:30. If you have specific things you would like me to go over, please email them out to me. My info is here. Email me at becky@beckyauer.com. I would love, love, love to have your input on this. It's not all about me and what I think you want. I would love to know what you really do want and go from there. Last week, we talked about what's a unique value proposition and why you should have one. So a unique value proposition is a market dominating position or an elevator speech, you know, why that, all that is. It's on YouTube right now. If you want to go check it out, go ahead and do that. And next week, I'm going to go over the golden rules of goal setting for your business, because if you don't know what your goals are, how are you going to know when you achieve them? And it's such an important part. Like, there's so much stuff I want to get out there to you. But with the new year coming up, I think it's important to really sit down and think about your goals for the new year, what that's going to look like. How do you know when you've achieved those goals? And I'm going to give you a smart and easy way to do that. So I'm going to open it up one more time for any questions. And if there are not questions, let's see, I'm going to go into the chat here. I saw somebody come up. The chat. Oh, you guys, you are so welcome. I'm getting a lot of, that was awesome. Thanks for sharing and great jobs and all that. So, hey, I appreciate you guys. I'm going to go back here to stop in the share and just say that I appreciate you guys for being on here every week. I will continue to do my duty and get the word out about some things you can do to improve your business. And I appreciate you. And I will talk to you next Wednesday. All right, everybody. Goodbye.